Hey guys, my name's Mannequin and welcome back to Remixing from Scratch. So this time I actually did do one thing in between videos, but it actually wasn't necessarily doing something in the project. I just wrote some things down. So I'll pop this open here, and I went through and kind of like dredged through some of the kick samples here, and I actually found some other ones I could look at here and just kind of show you guys, so you kind of check them out and see, do we want them more than this one? Because I actually don't think this kick will fit this track the way I kind of want to make it. This is how it sounds right now, and it's kind of plain. It doesn't really have a lot of character to it. It's like, it's a good solid kick, but it doesn't really have like a lot of uniqueness to it. So I went through and I found a couple other ones that have a little bit better sound. So okay, so we'll check out 491 first. 491. Let's see if this will work. There we go. That one's, it's kind of got a little bit more movement to it. And then let's see, 483, 42. So we'll do just 448. See if that'll pop it up right. Okay, 482 and 83. So those ones kind of have more character to it. Kind of like what I was just saying. I just kind of wanted something with a little bit more uniqueness to it. 276, 272. Okay, so we'll go 276. Ooh, I really like those two actually. So we're gonna knock out these ones from the list, and 276, 272, and then we'll check out 267 really quick. 267, and we'll hear what this sounds like. That one's a little bit too dead for me, I think. Has a lot of character, but so we'll just go with 276 and 272, I think it was. 276 and 272. Okay, 276. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Come on, 276 and 272. I think I kind of want 272. We'll actually just drop both these in for now, just in case, so I don't have to go digging for them later. Create new tracks. I don't know why it asked me that. I always want new tracks. Okay. 276 and 272. I think I kind of want to start out with 272 right now, because I like it's very trancy sounding kick. Okay, so then we're gonna mute these two, and then go in here and just copy this all over the place. We're gonna need to turn on the volume of these ones actually, so we'll drop it down by 12. Negative 12, because it's a good number. Somebody asked, why do I drop down these numbers and just kind of select random things? It's kind of like I was talking before. I have this boost on, so whenever I drop in a sample, I need to bring down the gain of the sample. Otherwise, it'll blow your eardrums out. I know if you've watched the previous season of Remixing from Scratch, you'll probably know there are a couple times when I dropped something in and I forgot to reduce the volume, and it ended up being really loud. So that's why I do that. I usually just drop it by negative 12 because I have a boost here that's positive 12. Sometimes I'll do a little bit more just because I don't want the kick to sound loud right off the bat. So like, I don't know what I did for these ones. Did I do just the regular? I was negative 14, so I want it to be just a little bit quieter than peaking at 0. So actually, I probably should do the same thing here. Drop these a little bit more. Negative 14, just so it's not like so it doesn't hit 0 right there when I play it back, and then I'll just copy the rest here. And by the way, I really like it when you guys ask questions, because it really shows me that some of you guys you're not just like, oh, I'm not sure what he's doing, but I don't really want to ask because I'm sure he's really busy. Trust me, I only get like what I usually get at most 3 questions or comments every day, and that's including the messages that you guys send me through the through YouTube and stuff like that. So I'm not actually all that busy when it comes to messages and stuff like that. So feel free, if you have a question, just shoot it by me. I have time right now. As this channel grows, that may reduce, and I might not be able to answer quite as many questions, but for now I have a lot of time, so feel free to ask questions whenever. Okay, so now we have this new kick here, and it just kind of like, don't be shy, baby. I will need to compress that kick. I don't think I needed to compress the original kick all that much. Nope, because this is the original kick that we had. I didn't need to compress it. But this one, if you'll notice, the low end kind of feels like it has a slap back. Don't be shy, baby. goes like be-do, be-do. It's almost what it sounds like it's doing, because you have like the initial punch, and then it kind of feels like it swells in a little bit. Almost. So you kind of got to keep an ear out for that, and you'll probably want to compress it a little bit to get rid of that, so it's punchy and then it just kind of rides out instead of feeling like it's like building back in, because that's a little awkward feeling when you start playing it really loud. So what I'm gonna do here is I pulled down the knee here just because I don't like to have a knee on my kick compression. Usually what a knee is kind of, I'll show you here, but it basically see that little point right there, it kind of smooths it out a little bit. So instead of having that point, we kind of end up getting this very smooth curve instead. So I'm going to turn off the knee because I want the compression to be tight. I'd use a knee when I'm like compressing vocals or something like that. I kind of want to squash them down, make them so that they're more uniform. Then I'd use a knee so that it's kind of like a more gradual compression. It's not as abrupt. But in this case, since I want punchiness, I'm turning the knee down. Threshold, I'm going to keep right there for now. I'm going to pull up the ratio a bit. Actually, pull it down just a little. Okay, so now we're doing a lot of compression here. And the kick drum, you got to open it up quite a bit because to get the whole punch and not just the click, you need to open it up to about there. And then we'll turn off auto release because that does terrible things to your kick drum. It's just really messes with the low end, makes it sound nasty really fast. And then I'll adjust the release here. I'm not sure if I'm going to pull it up and down, but I think it's actually okay right now. Let's see if I could tweak it a little bit more here. It was about in the right spot. So what you got to look for with this one is you don't want it to go back up too fast, because then the compression is kind of like it's not compressing as consistently throughout the thing, and you don't want to have it too slow because then it starts to like make it sound flattened and dead. So right there is about the sweet spot for this one. Yeah, we'll go with there. Okay, sweet. So that's pretty much the compression we need to do here. Now that we have the character of the compression, I need to turn it up here so that I could kind of get the amount of compression we want here. So, and then I'll use the mix knob in a second here to kind of get a little bit more of that. So. Okay, I think we're not going quite back down to 0, so we'll want to pull that up a little bit. Okay, so now we're hitting 0. That should be fine. And actually, since we're doing a small amount of compression here, we don't need to worry too much about the mix, since it's not as much of a compression as I could do. Now I could increase the threshold, or the ratio, not the threshold. I could increase the ratio here to do a bit more compression, but I think this might be okay. Actually, we'll put it about there. Don't be shy, baby. If you wanna be with me, so tell me you're in this. I wanna feel your kiss. Okay, and then you can probably tell that the kick is too loud right now. We'll also EQ the kick later, but for now we're just gonna compress a little bit so I can get rid of that flabbiness there. Don't be shy, baby. If you wanna be with me, so tell me you're in this. And we'll actually use this high end from that other kick because it actually sounds kind of nice. That kind of adds to it. If you wanna be with me, so actually, I really like that now. See, when we compare it to the other kick, this one's so sad sounding now. So you can tell this one does need more mids, definitely. I could do that now. Actually, you know what, I might as well. So we need a little bit of the punch here. Kind of hear that whistling right there. That's kind of what I want. So I'm just gonna put this down and smooth it out. So with the way the bandwidth goes, this makes it sound more harsh, which is great for getting a very specific part. But if you just kind of want to do a character boost, then you'll want to widen it out a little bit. So this is what this did. So you kind of hear that adds a lot more mids to it. And then I'm also going to boost right around here. I don't want it this thick because this way this will boost too much of the high end. So I'm going to thin it out to around there. And then I'm going to play it back and find the sweet spot for it. So that kind of sounds too low and kind of like almost like a ch sound, which I don't want. I kind of want the air to the kick, which is not around here. That's a lot of the clip or the click right there. There we go. Kind of just adds a little bit of air to the kick. And we do have some of the click here doing that already, but I kind of wanted to get the original click in just a little bit. I don't think I need to do anything in this area. I'm just going to double check because there might be something. So I would think about boosting right here normally, but there's not like an air. Actually, you know what? I'll keep that because that just adds a little bit more presence to it. This kind of keeps it in the mix and keeps it so it doesn't fall out. This kind of sounds... It's very, very, very hard to catch. You got to be listening really closely for that one. But this one here actually adds a lot to it. So now what did our final EQ do? It just added a lot of mids, basically. A lot of subtle mids. So it doesn't sound like we just like boosted the mids. It's kind of like we kind of found the accentuation points and boosted them in the right spot, and then we kind of pulled up the sounds that we wanted to kind of get it to fit better in the mix. Now, usually you should be double checking this with your mix, but I've gotten kind of used to mixing a lot of this style of kick, so I kind of have an idea how it'll sit in the mix right now, and so I'll just play it back here, kind of give you an idea.
Don't be shy, baby. If you wanna be
oh, that's right. We have this one unmuted. There we go.
Don't be shy, baby. If you wanna be with me. So tell me you're it.
So you could tell it really cuts through the mix a lot better now. And then I'm going to pull down the gain because it boosted the gain because we were just doing boost here. And then this should balance it out. I might need to pull down the kick a little bit more just to kind of get it so it sits in the right spot in the mix.
Don't be shy, baby. If you wanna be with me.
That's good. Okay, sweet. So now, so we have the better kick here. And then I wanted to do one more thing. I think I've been running 13 minutes here. So I'll try to pull out a new bass line here. So I kind of told you guys at the beginning, this right here is not final. It's just we have something in mind and something to kind of in the background. So now, if I make a better bass line, I can throw out the old bass line and still have a pad and an arpeggio here, kind of like let it add some space so I kind of get an idea how the track will flesh out in the end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do exactly that. I actually, I did go through kind of like with the kicks here. I've been listening to a lot of trance music in the past couple of days just because I've been listening to more electro house lately than I have trance. So I decided, yeah, let's listen to trance for this for the couple of days here so I could kind of get back into the groove here. And then I came up with, I'm kind of going to do, I think it's like one of the more progressive styles of trance. But let's see here. I think... I'm just keying in notes right now. I don't remember what I had because I was just kind of punching in notes and I thought I found something kind of cool. So, oh, that's right. It was like dot 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 and then I think I went. This one was like that. Nope, because it went up. I think. What the heck?
Don't be shy, baby.
Oh no, wait. Da 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 do do da 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 do do. That's kind of what I'm trying to do right now.
Don't be shy, baby.
There we go.
Don't be shy, baby. If you want.
Okay, sweet, and then just loops. So that's that was my idea for notes here, and so it's just kind of like I came up with this. Is one of the things that unfortunately I can't explain everything to. I was inspired to kind of make this, so I did. Basically, that's all I can really explain for this one. If you've watched my music theory section, you kind of know what I'm basing this off of. I know that the key is C sharp here, I believe. That's what we figured it out. It was right. And then I just kind of keying up some notes here to try to get this in. But so that's kind of where I got this idea. But other than like the note pattern itself and moving the notes around, that takes inspiration. And I just happened to that popped into my head when I was just kind of thinking throughout the day. So I decided, okay, let's try to key it in here, see if I could get this. Now, obviously, if this is a bass line, I do not want an electric piano to do the bass here. So I need to find a synthesizer, and as usual, I'm gonna swap over to Synth Master, and I'm gonna actually look for a bass that is distorted. How nice! Let it sort there. Sequence. I don't want to sequence. Let's kind of listen to some of these. Leads can also be used as basses. I am going to need to pull this down a lot, if you've already seen, because I have this boost here that I'm doing once again. I need to pull this down because otherwise Synth Master will blow out your eardrums when if I play it back at full volume. So. See, this is what I love so much about Synth Master. You can key in a whole bunch of notes, and some of them will be arpeggiated. And so you'll key in your notes, you'll be going through, and you'll just hit an arpeggio that sounds really cool with your note pattern. So I might actually use this later. I don't know. Okay, well, let's just look through some of the other ones for now. I kind of want to add dynamics compressor. I'm going to add the sidechain compression to this really quick, so I could just kind of, when I play it back in the track, it's sidechained. I forgot to sidechain this kick too. Bus 20. I shouldn't name this. Kick thad. Sweet. Okay, so now it's named. I forget to name a lot of my buses, and that causes problems later on. Okay, so now I just need to go through, do some compression here. Just for a refresher for those of you, I don't know how much I went over with the. It's been 2 weeks since I actually recorded that, because I recorded 2 videos here, and then I put them out, and I had a break where I was listening to trance, and then I'm doing this video here. So it's been 2 weeks since I've been in this project. I don't remember exactly what I talked to you by way of the sidechain compression. I could just copy this, but I'm actually going to redo it from scratch, just kind of because I kind of want to go for it. Okay, so we have threshold. You can pull the thresh down a lot, turn the ratio up a lot. That's basically how you get sidechain compression. And then I'll pull in the kick here so we kind of listen to it. Route the kick, which is bus 20, we decided, to this. And turn off the knee. I'm going to turn off the auto release too. Turn down the attack so you have a fast attack, and then turn up this just a little bit so I kind of watch the graph and you kind of see it. Okay, now for the final part that makes it nice and a lot better. Instead of compressing all the time, you notice it doesn't ever go up all the way back to the top. We're going to turn the filter to on, make it high pass so we don't get the bass that's causing it to stay down there the whole time. And then we're going to bring it to somewhere around here. It doesn't really matter just because we're basically trying to cut out the bass, which is right around here, so that it's a lot more punchy. Watch. It goes up all the way now, where if we turn the filter off, it doesn't sound as good. So turn it back on. Sweet. There's a sidechain compression. Okay, so now we'll listen to it. And we'll kind of cycle through some of the presets here. I'm just gonna have the kick, the vocals, and this new synthesizer, and we'll kind of listen to it.
Don't be shy, baby. If you wanna be with me, so tell me you're in this. I wanna feel your kiss. Don't be shy, baby. If you wanna be with me, so tell me you're in this.
Okay, we'll stop there. I like that. So what the first thing I'm going to do with this, actually, because I don't know if it's in full stereo. Let me listen to this synthesizer really quick. Yeah, it's in good enough stereo. Okay, so I was going to think about spacing it out just a little bit. But instead, what we'll take here is we will take a... You know what? We're going to have bus 3 be our roomy reverb. Roomy reverb. Sweet. And then we're going to take with this one is we're going to pull this up and add a space designer. If I can find it. Space designer. And this is actually going to be kind of like a lead and bass. I'm going to throw a actual sort of bass underneath of this and just use this as a top end kind of for the bass. But for now, I need to find a large space that is, we'll go with a hall. And, okay, by the way, actually, it's worth talking about the kind of different types of reverbs here really quick. I'm going to wrap this episode pretty soon here, but like right after this. But I do want to kind of talk over this just really quick. So rooms kind of sound boxy. When you do a room reverb, it tends to sound square, like you're in a square room almost, which is, it's characteristically, it's kind of hard to describe. I can kind of go through here and you'll just kind of see, it feels like there's more slapback to the reverb, so this is not a good example actually, because I have a long note, but essentially, if you go through and, you know, I should just do this. I'm going to duplicate this here. Move this down, make sure the side chain's on, and I'm gonna find a pluck really quick. I think I know. I think I'll just see if I can find a pluck here. BT, one of these might be a pluck. There we go. This is actually a great example. So it kind of feels like there's more slapback to this. So you hear the kick, and then you hear the that kind of comes in after it. So you have the original sound, and then the reverb kind of comes in after it. That's the kind of characteristic I found with the room presets. That's a perfect example of it. That's kind of what the rooms do for me. So that's when I want some sort of slapback sort of sound, I grab a room here. If I want a big kind of developing, very smooth reverb, I'll typically go for a hall, because there are some halls here that have really good long reverb. So kind of like this. So it doesn't have as much as anywhere near as much as a slapback. It just kind of sounds like a lot of reverb trailing off of it. So I actually might use, we could probably go with this reverb. Okay, so now I can get rid of this. So I showed you the difference here between the different ones. So I think this might be good enough. Here, let's check this out. Of course, we need it sidechained so we can kind of hear all the effects.
Don't be shy, baby. If you wanna be with me, so tell me your rhythms. I wanna feel your kiss. Don't be shy, baby. If you wanna be with me, so tell me your rhythms. I wanna feel your kiss. Don't be shy, baby.
Okay, sweet. So it's kind of sounding good right now. Now we actually need to add a bass to that bass. But we'll do that in the next episode, hopefully. So now actually you'll notice that I need to get rid of these things that we had before, because if I play it back,
Don't be shy, baby.
it just sounds nasty. I don't think I'm gonna mute these. I think I'm just gonna delete them altogether, because they kind of sound just, I don't want them anymore at all. So,
Don't be shy, baby. If you want,
and then I'll need to readjust everything here, but it kind of gives us an idea with the.
don't be shy, baby. If you wanna be with me.
Okay, so we'll just delete these. Goodbye. We don't need you. Okay, sweet. So save it here and I'll wrap it up. Ooh, that was almost perfect. It's almost 25 minutes. So that ended up timing rather nicely. So thank you guys so much for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And I know I like this lead here that we got going on. It's gonna add a lot to it. Kind of gives it a vibe now. It's not just kind of like where you have the bass before. It's just kind of like a bass that went and it wasn't all that great. But this one's kind of like, it's got a lot more character to it. Character is key, my friends. You notice that I look for things with character. That's what you got to do. If your track is kind of like just, it just kind of conforms to trance standards and then you send it out, it's not, no one's like gonna have any reason to listen to it because there's other ones that are more unique and kind of stand out on their own. So you gotta look for character in what you do, and you gotta find a way to stand out. And one of the ways you could do this is by finding something stereotypical and making it unique, or finding something unique and making it fit in the genre. So just a little pep talk there. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this. And like I said, this usually comes out Monday, so keep an eye out for that. And if you haven't seen my EDM Pro Tips series, that was kind of a motivational series. I talk about, basically I just spend somewhere between 2 to 10 minutes, kind of like shorter based videos, where I talk about just kind of like general tips for being creative, and just other tips that are not necessarily logic related, but are very, very, very important to the EDM field. So if you haven't checked that out, I kind of suggest you check it out. It's got some neat videos there. If it's not your style, feel free to just skip over to some of my other videos. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.